In the name of Allah, the most merciful and the most beneficent. Assalamu alaikum, lovely students. How are you? I hope you all are fine. Dear students, as you know that this is Pakistan International School Types virtual learning class of science for grade 6. And we are on chapter number 7, that is solutions and suspensions. I hope you understood the previous lecture. So now we are going to continue the same chapter regarding solutions and suspension. And today we will see some different topics, but that is related with the solutions, that is water as a universal solvent, and we will see some of the types of solutions as well. So let's get started. Dear students, as you know that water is a universal solvent. So our whole earth, if you see, just very little part of the earth is composed of land, but all is composed of water. So water is a universal solvent. How can you prove this? How can you justify that statement? You can see here that most of the things dissolve in water very easily. That's why that is called very good solvent. So if we see what type of things, there are some examples which can dissolve in water. So the number one is sugar, rock salt. What is rock salt? Yes, the salt which we use for cooking. That sugar, salt, sodium bicarbonate, that is also called meta soda, baking soda, that is used for baking purposes, and lots of other things, that etc. they dissolve in water. Milk, yes, it can also dissolve in water. Alcohol, lemon juice, vinegar, that is also called, that is like vinegar, apple cider vinegar, what white vinegar, whatever vinegar is that, lemon juice, apple juice, all the juices that can dissolve in water. Like in the first just point, you can just focus that these all solutes are solids. And in the second point, all solutes are liquid. So lots of solid, liquid, and gases are dissolved in water. So next one. So yes, if we see that the food we eat forms a solution in the body and then absorbs in the blood. If you see the food that we eat, that goes into our stomach, then into the small intestine, and here this is the place from where the food is absorbed in the blood, and then unabsorbed food, or which cannot be absorbed in the body, undigested food, that is excreted out. So if we see in this diagram that the food that we ingest or eat, then that is digested in stomach, and then here is absorption occurs, because that is dissolved in water which is present in our stomach, in the body, and we drink the water as well. So that is dissolved in the water and then absorbed through this small intestine and into the blood. There is a blood, and into the blood then it is transported to whole of the body. There is another example in our daily life, in our body, that many harmful substances are produced in our body. Yes, all the time in our body, there are metabolic activities, means the breaking and making of the chemical or products are happened all the time. It's a continuous process in our body. So if they are broken down, so where they will go? Definitely they will be dissolved in the water, and then they go into the blood, and then the blood through the blood they go into the kidney, and from the kidney they will just transformed in the form of urine, and they come through this ureter or this pipe outside of the body. As well as, because they are the waste products, they can harm our body, so they have to be excreted in any way. So they just move to the kidneys, and they removed out in the form of urine. As well as perspiration is another very important fact by which the waste is excreted out from our whole of the body, from our skin, while dissolved in the water. That's why we must be hydrated. We must drink more and more water. So plenty of water is very important for our body to just hydrate and to dissolve all the wastage from our body and excrete it out from the body. So water is a universal solvent, and there is very important function of the water here, because the water which is given to the plants, so all the nutrients from the fertilizers and from these this soil, that is dissolved in the water. Otherwise the roots cannot take up those minerals. So you can see the minerals which are taking up by the roots, that it's actually it's not visible here, but they are dissolved in the water, and then the roots sucks them up like straws. Like we drink juice or water by the straw, so they sucks up like this, because they are dissolved in the water, and then plants can grow well. Very important another use of water, that can dissolve lots of gases inside it, like oxygen gas that is dissolved in the water. It keeps the aquatic animals alive. Otherwise, how can the aquatic animals be alive under the water? That is due to the dissolved oxygen, which is like dissolved in the water, and they take up by the gills. They just breathe that oxygen. That oxygen is dissolved like the oxygen which is present in the air, that is also dissolved in the water, and the plants which are present in under the water, they also produce that oxygen, and the animals take them up. So very important other step regarding life usage of water for the life, that is the dissolution of or dissolution of carbon dioxide gas into the water. So because we have studied before in the previous like lecture, that gases are also dissolved in water. Gases act as solute, and water is solvent, so that is also dissolved in water, especially carbon dioxide that is dissolved in the water. Aquatic animals, they breathe out carbon dioxide that is dissolved in the water, as well as from air carbon dioxide dissolved in the water, and those the plants which are present under the water, they take up that carbon dioxide and they do photosynthesis. And that is very important a step regarding the survival of plants under the water. Yes, dear students, let's talk about some types of solutions. Types of solutions, like according to the quantity of solute, we can divide the solution into different types. For example, we are having here three different types of solutions: dilute solution, concentrated solution and a saturated solution. So now we'll see here difference between concentrated and dilute solution. Excuse me, it not seems properly. Okay, so there are two types of solutions which we'll discuss right now. That is concentrated solution and a dilute solution. So if we see here concentrated solution, so first we'll see dilute, then you understand concentrated as well. Dilute means which is having a less quantity of solute. Solvent can be more, but there is very less quantity of solute is present or dissolved in any type of solvent. So that is called like thin, very not thick, very thin or dilute solution. So the other opposite of that, that is concentrated solution. You can see from this color that is very light color, that is darker color due to more more amount of solute present in that solvent. So solvent amount is less, but solute amount is more. So it can change the color of that solution. You can see here the blue one is solid particles and the pink one are solvent particles. So you can see like here more blue in concentrated, more there are more particles of solute, but in dilute there are less particles of solute. So if we can see the definition of solute and solvent, so here we will see a solution with less quantity of solute, that is called dilute solution, and a solution with more quantity of solute, that is concentrated solution. So yes, we can see here, that is a diagram from your book. So you can see the solution with light color is a dilute and it contains less amount of solute. And when we go move to this right side, so you can see the color is gonna change. Here is lighter and then it becomes darker at the end. So it means more solute is present. So solvent can be less or more, but here the same amount of solvent is present, but there is more solute concentration is present. Concentration means amount. So more amount of solute is present. So that's why it is called concentrated solution. So one very other a very important type of the solution, that is called a saturated solution. Saturated solution, so in which the solvent cannot dissolve any more solute at a particular temperature. If we keep the temperature same, like it can be room temperature 25 degrees centigrade everywhere in the world, that is a standard or average room temperature 25 degrees centigrade. So this 25 degrees centigrade common temperature. So if what happens, so if we dissolve 1 spoon of sugar in this the same amount of the solvent as well as the same temperature, so it can be dissolved easily. We can add 2, we can add 3, we can add 4. And here is the point where after 4 spoons of sugar or salt, when we add the 5th one, it will not dissolve properly and it will settle down. The solute particles will settle down. This is the point in which we said that this solution is saturated solution. So before that, that is unsaturated solution, and when this point occurs, when we dissolve more, so the solute will settle down. So you can see here, if we dissolve more amount of solute, so you can see here that cannot be dissolved properly. So look here, it will settle down here. So that's why that is called saturated solution. You can see in this diagram also, that 30 gram of sodium chloride we are adding in the water, 100 ml of water. So that is called unsaturated solution. But what happened when we add 40 gram of sodium chloride? 40 gram of sodium chloride in that, so it in the same amount of water, so it can add just 36 gram of sodium chloride, means salt in that. But if we add more 4 grams, so that will settle down. So at this point, the solution is called a saturated solution. Okay, this is another fact regarding saturated solution. That is, you can see this C. Can you name this one? In which it is having lots of salt as compared to other seas? Yes, that is called Dead Sea. Oof, the name is very scary, Dead Sea. It is highly saturated with salts, and these salts become crystals at a slight decrease in temperature, like they started to crystallize and freeze. So what happened? Due to this property, the Dead Sea, things do not sink in it. Yes, why? Because due to more saturation, more amount of solute particles, or like more amount of salts, what happened? This water becomes denser, saturated. And due to this saturation, this salt particles, the solute particles, started to crystallize, like settled at a side. You can see lots of salt. You can see just present, crystallized here also. So because water becomes denser now, concentrated or saturated, so anything which just go in that a sea that floats in it, do not sink. You can see here. Wow. No, nothing can just sink inside it, because the water is in the Dead Sea, that is dense and concentrated and saturated with lots of salts. And this is called a Dead Sea because no life is present under the water due to more saturation of the solute, except some bacteria, like which can just bear extreme environment, salty environment, but no other life can exist here. That's why that is called Dead Sea. So hope you understood this all concept of saturation of the solution, as well as its type, other types like dilute and concentrated solution. In daily life, there are lots of examples you can see around you regarding when you bring milkshakes or fruit squashes. So they are very thick. And even sometimes we mixes some water inside it to make them dilute, because lots of the people cannot digest that concentrated in concentrated form. That's why. So my lovely students, that's it for today. Inshallah, we will see you in the next lecture. Till then, take care of yourself and your family and wish you good luck.